All right, hello tech friends, this is Josh. I'm going to be taking you guys through how we set up our documents, slides, songs, scripture readings, and sermons for our ProPresenter on Sunday mornings. What we're going to be showing you first is what the desired outcome that we're looking for each specific type of element in our service, and then I'll be taking you through from scratch how we get from nothing to that look. So to do that, so you can see, and I'm not just talking at you, I'm going to show you a quick kind of screen of all the things that we'll see. So what you're looking at here, right above me, is our ProPresenter screen that you guys are operating from. Up in the top, I guess the top right for you guys, is the projector feed. Below that is what's going out on the live stream, and below that is our stage display that our musicians are looking at. So I'm going to start off with what we call like our music slide. So this is what things look like when we're doing our music in the part of the service. You can tell that the projector is showing that motion background plus the text over top of it. Our live stream is just showing that lower third look that we have, and our stage display is showing our typical music lyric confidence. So you can see the current slide and the next slide. And you can see as we go throughout the song, you can see that everything kind of changes in sync as we click through. Now for announcements, what we're looking for is on our projector, the full screen graphic. On our live stream, we're outputting a full screen graphic, and then our vMix live streaming software shrinks and resizes that to fit in kind of beside the pulpit as we've been doing recently. And again, on our stage display, now we have a full screen view, so the person doing the announcements can know that what they're talking about in terms of the announcements is what's up on the projector in the live stream, so we can stay in sync. When we get to scripture verses, things change just a little bit. Our projector and our live stream, again, just get the full screen graphic with the motion background and the lyric over top, or the scripture verse over top. And the only thing that changes is the stage display. So the stage display, we give them the scripture verse so that in case they get lost with their physical Bible, there's something there on front of them so they can read along with it. When we get to a sermon, our sermon look is very similar to the announcements look. So we have that full screen graphic on both the projector live stream and on the stage display. So how do we get to that? To do that, let's start with our lyrics, our music. So what we're going to do is I'm just going to pull up a song we haven't ever done so we can know that how you need to rejigger this. Any song that we've been doing for the last 3 to 4 weeks or since we moved into the Shepherd Community Hall, this should all be pre-done for you, but it's a good thing to check. So here's one that we had set up for the theater, for example, back in the day. So we're going to go make sure we have the correct arrangements selected. Want to make sure that we do have that background to start and that everything looks the way it should be. So it should be a background to start, then usually bits of the pieces of the song with some blanks, etc. in there. To get everything back to normal, first thing we're going to do is we're going to click on that first slide, hit Command A to select all. You right click, and because our Mac isn't super fast, it takes a little while, and we're going to remove actions. This is kind of, think of this as a blank slate. This is going to remove any motion backgrounds, any specific stage, projector, or live stream looks or changes to the way things are displayed. The first thing we want to do is set this up so our projector theme or like the layout of text and that background all look the same. So we're going to go to Theme. We'll go to Redemption South Lyrics, and there's one we have specifically for a light background. And click that, and you're going to notice it's going to rearrange all the slides. So we have that kind of light gray with the black text. Now you're going to notice it's putting a gray background over top of our background and blank slides. We'll get to that later. The next thing we want to do is we want to set the live stream look. Now to our live stream, this is considered an audience look. Now what audience look does is it tells the projector and the live stream how to display things. Now we have two different looks. Song looks output that lower third on the lyrics and full screen on the projector. Sermon puts full screen on both the live stream and on the projector. So for a song, very obviously, we're going to select song. And if you look very carefully, you can see that mustachioed guy with the glasses. That's saying that we've assigned an audience look to every one of these slides. We do this so that just in case you start in the middle of a song, we guarantee that we're not outputting like a motion background and that lyric overlay over top of our worship part of our service. The next thing we're going to do is let's fix these bars that shouldn't be there. So we'll click on our first slide and go to edit. And then we can go click a little gray bar on our background. Let's find that blank slide. And on the blank slide, we click and delete, and those are gone. And now you can see that that gray background is only there when there's text on the slide. Now the last thing we want to do is make sure that we set up the stage display to change to that music look where we have the current slide and next slide. We do this at the first two slides, so on the background and on, say, the first lyric slide of that song, just to make sure that if we're coming out of an announcement or a sermon, that stage display changes from the full screen to the lyric look that we want. So to do this, you select the first slide, you're going to add a stage action, and we're going to say music. The music stage action does that current slide, next slide text on the stage display as we currently see now. We're going to do that for the first and for the second slide. Then it's probably a good idea just to quickly check. Oh, we need to put a background on there. So at this point, find a background you like. They're all done by type here. So let's put that kind of nice happy tree one in there. And yes, I just did make a Bob Ross reference. So let's check out what this is looking like. So what we're looking like is we should see on the projector, we should see that motion background. On our live stream, we should see nothing until we put a lyric up. And on our stage display, we should see the current slide and the next slide's lyrics up there. And you can see that looks all great. This is a great time to mention the clear all button. If you're ever running live and there's stuff up on the screen that shouldn't be, and this is a good panic button. The clear all will get rid of everything on the screen. And then as you launch the bits, those come back up. Okay, now that we've done a song presentation, that we've changed the look and the theme and all that such, let's go in and let's do a sermon. Now, usually what you'll find is the sermon document, a sermon presentation, has last week's sermon in there. So the first thing we're going to go in and do is remove it. So you're going to highlight the first one. P.S. If you're looking for the sermon, you're going to go up into our library and you're going to type sermon, and you'll find it right there, and that'll bring up the sermon document over here. So to remove the old sermon, we're going to click on one of those slides, use Command A again to select all, and just hit delete. And we'll clear all so we get everything off of our screen. You'll go find your sermon, which is usually downloaded into your downloads folder. We'll find our slides and we'll drag them in. And now what we want to do is usually write over any existing slides that we have in there. And you can see they're all of our slides. Now, if we were coming from a song, so let's say we just finished up a song, and you can see our projector at this point is showing the full screen graphic that we have. And you can see our live stream is showing those lower thirds, and our stage display is showing the kind of up next lyrics. If we go back to our sermon, now if we don't change anything, when we launch the sermon, the projector is going to show that full screen graphic, but because we haven't changed the audience look or the stage look to our full screen and sermon looks, you can notice here that the live stream is completely blank because we've told it specifically not to output graphics during music, and the stage display is blank because we have only told it to show song lyrics, and there's no song lyrics in our sermon slides. So what we need to do is we need to, at first, let's select we'll do this on the first two slides, because when you assign a look, it happens when you click on that slide. So let's go to audience look, and we're going to set this to sermon. We'll do this for the first two just in case you missed that first slide. Now we'll notice this is going to change our live stream. So when I click on a slide that has an audience look, this changed. When we go to sermon, this outputs a full screen graphics on the live stream, which again, that we normally shrink and put beside the pulpit so people can see whoever's preaching plus the scripture verses. And our projector is showing that full screen image like we want. But you notice our stage display is still showing blank. It's usually fairly helpful for our preachers to know what slide is up so they can make sure they're staying on track. They can cue us tech people if perchance we miss a slide cue, for example. To do this, we're going to right click, we're going to add a stage action, and we're going to say full screen. And again, we're going to do this for the first 2 slides, just to make sure we catch it. Now we click on that first slide. Now you can see our stage display shows the current time, the full screen graphic, and if there was a video playing, that little 0000 shows how much time is left in that video. And now as we click through, you can see that all 3 are changing again. So that's how to set up a sermon. All right, now the last thing we're going to show you is how to set up for the scripture verses. So again, assuming we're coming out of a song or some sort. So to add a Bible verse, so for example, this week we were doing Psalm 65. We're going to go to the Bible part, and you'll type in your scripture reference. So we're going to say Psalm 65. And you can see that that brings up the Bible reference and kind of formats it already for you. Typically what we're going to do is we're going to save as and copy this into our current playlist. So put this in August 2nd. And you can see there it is, down right there at the bottom. So let's go to our show and see what happens when we play that. So if we go to our, now you can see, looks great on the projector. We have our motion background plus the scripture verses there. However, it looks really funky on the live stream. It's tried doing like four lines, but it's run out of space and it's not the full thing. So what we typically want for our Bible verses, as we've discussed, is we want our projector to show the full screen with the motion background and the scripture verse. We want our live stream again to be the same thing, full screen graphics with the scripture verse over there that we're going to resize and make fit. And for the stage display, we want that kind of similar to the music look where they can see the current slide's text and the next slide's text. So first thing we want to do is put a background on here. So we're going to put a background on that first one so that it shows the background on the first and then it continues through the next. I usually like one of the more muted stained glass for scripture verse. It kind of gets the gravitas of reading scripture in church. So I'm going to grab this sanctuary one, drag it over top the first slide. And now you can see when we launch that, our projector now shows that nice stained glass in the background. Now what we want to do is we want to change our audience look. So audience look in this case is what we call the live stream look. So if we right click on there, add an audience look for sermon, or in this case full screen. Now if we click on that again, you can see our live stream now shows that full screen that we shrink down and put beside the pulpit. To make sure that the stage display changes to the music look, it's always a good idea to add a stage look to the first 1 or 2 slides. In this case, we're going to say music. Music is what gives us that current slide lyrics, next slide lyrics. And we like to do both that audience look and stage look for usually the first 2 slides just to make sure you catch it. So we're going to go to the first slide, add a sermon audience look, our full screen audience look, go to our stage, and we'll add music look. And if we pop that in there, you can see I had one from earlier. So let's simulate what would happen during a service. So we've just finished our kids moment, and we're going live to our first song. So you can see when we play our first song, that audience look or live stream look gets rid of all the graphics on the live stream and just shows the lower third lyrics like we want. Our stage display is showing the current lyrics plus the next slide lyrics, so our people on stage know what to sing and are prepared for the next slide. I'm going to skip all the way to the end of this song. And when we get to the end of the song, we should just have a blank on the live stream, blank on the stage display, and just the motion backgrounds. We'll go to announcements, and announcements should have that full screen on the live stream, full screen on the projector, full screen on stage display. So your people on stage, when they're doing the announcements, can see that the announcements going live on the projector and out on the live stream are what they're talking about. Now when we go to scripture, the only thing that's going to change is our stage display. because we want the stage display to show just the words in case the person doing the scripture verse doesn't have their Bible with them or just wants to read off the teleprompter or the stage display. We'll go through there and you can see everything changes as we expect. We're coming out of scripture and we're going to go to our next song. Now this is why we do that audience look and stage look on every song, because if we didn't change the audience look and stage display look for this song, when we went from the scripture verse to the song, our audience look wouldn't change and we'd get graphics out on our live stream. And you can see now, because we've done this and that we've done in advance, everything looks like it should. And that's all there is to it. I hope this has been helpful. If you have any questions, you can always reach out to me, joshdogood@yahoo.ca, or give me a call. If you don't know my number, reach out to email and I can send it to you. Look forward to working with you guys some more, and hopefully things go very well for you while I'm on vacation this summer. Blessings. Know that tech team, you are very loved.